In 1993, a robot crawled into a shaft inside the Great Pyramid so narrow that no human being could follow it. It climbed for 65 meters, and then it stopped. There was a door, a sealed stone door with 2 copper handles, sitting in the dark where no door should be. Untouched for 4,500 years. They drilled through it in 2002, and behind that door was another door. We still haven't opened it. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's not a fringe idea. That is the official, documented, peer-reviewed reality of the most studied structures in human history. And it should terrify you a little, because if we missed that, what else are we missing? Because here's what nobody talks about. The pyramids aren't just mysterious on the outside. Beneath them, beneath the sand, the bedrock, the centuries of excavation, there are hidden chambers that radar has detected but no one has entered. There are tunnels that disappear off every map. There's evidence of an entire underground city that the Egyptian government has blocked foreign researchers from studying. And there's a void inside the Great Pyramid the size of a passenger jet that we only discovered 7 years ago. 4,500 years, and we're still finding things. So today we're going underground. Let's start with the scan that rewrote everything. In 2015, a project called Scan Pyramids did something nobody had managed before. They looked inside the pyramids without touching them, using a technique called muon tomography, which tracks cosmic ray particles as they pass through dense matter, basically an X-ray for something the size of a mountain. They built a picture of what was actually inside the Great Pyramid of Khufu. And there it was, a void, enormous, roughly 30 meters long, sitting directly above the Grand Gallery, completely sealed, completely unknown, never recorded in any ancient text, any architectural survey, any prior excavation. Just there, waiting. They called it the Big Void, which is maybe the most understated name in the history of archaeology. Now, the official explanation is structural. The theory is that ancient engineers built the cavity deliberately to redistribute weight above the Grand Gallery, to stop the ceiling from cracking under 2.3 million stone blocks pressing down from above. A smart, practical engineering solution that just happened to stay hidden for 45 centuries. Maybe. But here's what bothers the researchers who've looked most closely at it. The dimensions don't quite fit that explanation. The void is larger than it would need to be. It's oriented in a way that doesn't fully match the structural theory. And there are features inside it, picked up by the scans, that haven't been explained yet. The Big Void isn't solved, it's just named. And then there are the doors. Go back to 1993. A German engineer named Rudolf Gantenbrink sends a small robot, he called it UPUAUT2, crawling up one of the narrow shafts leading out of the Queen's chamber. These shafts are about 20 centimeters square, far too tight for a person. They were assumed to be symbolic. Air shafts pointing towards specific stars as part of the burial ritual. But at the end of the shaft, 65 meters in, the robot found something. A small limestone door, smooth, sealed, with 2 polished copper handles fitted into it. Nobody knew it was there. It took nearly a decade for anyone to follow up. In 2002, a newer robot drilled a tiny hole through the door and pushed a camera through. Behind it was a small chamber, about 20 centimeters deep, and on the other side of that chamber, another sealed door. The Egyptian authorities stopped the investigation shortly after. Access was restricted, the project stalled, and as of today, that second door has never been opened. Think about that for a second. There is a sealed, ancient, untouched chamber inside the Great Pyramid. We have the technology to investigate it, and we haven't. Now let's go to the Sphinx. The Great Sphinx of Giza is, conservatively, 4,500 years old. It sits about 400 meters from the Great Pyramid, carved directly from the bedrock of the Giza Plateau, and it has been staring at the horizon since before most of human civilization existed. But in the early 1990s, a geologist named Robert Schoch looked at the erosion patterns on the Sphinx's body and said something that made Egyptologists furious. The damage, he said, wasn't caused by wind and sand. It was caused by water. heavy, sustained rainfall. The kind of deep, rounded erosion grooves you only get from thousands of years of rain pouring down stone. The problem is that Giza hasn't seen that kind of rainfall since at least 7,000 BCE, possibly 9,000 BCE. If Shah is right, and his geology has never actually been disproven, just disputed, the Sphinx is not 4,500 years old. It could be 9,000 years old, or older, which would make it the oldest monumental structure on Earth by thousands of years. And it would mean that an advanced enough civilization to carve a 73-meter statue existed long before we thought civilization even started. Mainstream archaeology hasn't accepted this, but they haven't fully explained away the erosion either. And then there's what's underneath it. In the 1990s, a team from Florida State University used ground-penetrating radar to scan the rock directly beneath the Sphinx's paws. They found chambers, tunnels, cavities carved into the bedrock in patterns that looked deliberate. One cavity appeared to be a large rectangular room, roughly 9 meters below the surface. The Egyptian government shut down that research, refused further permits, and those chambers have never been excavated. Now here's where it gets stranger. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus visited Egypt around 450 BCE, and he wrote about something he called the Labyrinth, a colossal underground complex near the pyramids that he said surpassed the pyramids themselves in wonder and size. He described 3,000 rooms, half above ground, half below, filled with carvings, passages, and halls so vast he could barely describe them. For a long time, historians assumed he was exaggerating. Herodotus had a reputation for embellishment. But in 2008, a team of researchers scanning near a site called Hawara, southeast of Giza, found something under the desert with ground-penetrating radar. A massive, regular, engineered structure, underground, the right size, the right location. They published their findings in 2008. They called it a significant discovery. And then access to the site was closed to foreign researchers. The structure has never been excavated. Whatever Herodotus saw, whatever is sitting under that desert right now, remains completely untouched. And there's one more piece of this that most people miss entirely. For centuries, the biggest unanswered question about the pyramids wasn't what's inside them. It was how they were built. Specifically, how do you move 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing 80 tons, across open desert with no machinery? In 2024, researchers published new satellite and geological evidence for something called the Ahrimat Branch, an extinct arm of the Nile River that once ran directly alongside the Giza Plateau. The evidence suggests it was a navigable waterway, active during the period when the pyramids were built. If that's accurate, the builders didn't haul stone across desert at all. They floated it up a river, right to the construction site, which completely changes the logistics. And it means there's almost certainly buried harbor infrastructure, docks, warehouses, workers' settlements, sitting under the sand around Giza that nobody has found yet. One river, and the impossible suddenly becomes possible. Here's what I keep coming back to. We have satellites that can read a license plate from orbit. We have radar that can see through solid rock. We have robots that can crawl through passages the width of a dinner plate. We have particle physics equipment that can map the inside of a mountain using cosmic rays from outer space. And we still don't know what's behind the second door. We still haven't excavated the chambers under the Sphinx. We still haven't dug up whatever is buried at Hawara. We still haven't fully explained the big void. We still don't have a definitive answer for how the pyramids were built, who designed them, or what they were ultimately for. The pyramids are the most examined, most photographed, most studied objects in human history. Every generation thinks it's finally figured them out. Every generation finds something new that proves it hasn't. 4,500 years of secrets, and the sand is still giving them up, very slowly. And if this kept you watching, if some part of you is now lying awake wondering what's behind that second door, then you already know what kind of channel this is. Hit subscribe. We do this every week. New mysteries, buried histories, and the questions that the textbooks left out. And if you've got a theory about what's hidden under those pyramids, drop it in the comments. Genuinely. Some of the best rabbit holes I've ever gone down started in a comment section. Like the video if you want more. It actually makes a difference. And I'll see you in the next one.